What are some global trends that are currently impacting Canadian entrepreneurs? Let's look at that. We're talking to you here on June 21st, 2024, okay, 2024. Okay, subscribe to our channel here, and if the content of this video is useful, let us know. So let's look at the business reality until 2019, before COVID, okay? What we had was, we had a lot of exploratory international travels. Everybody I knew here in Toronto and region, they were going or they had just arrived from an international trip to visit some foreign suppliers or some foreign clients or doing some type of international partnerships. It was very open, happening very quickly. So, and the other thing that we knew, even people who are not traveling, there was a high degree of willingness to engage with unknown markets. So if you're here, you got an email from a country somewhere wanting to sell you or to buy something, you would consider that. Say, well, sure, look, well, it doesn't hurt. Let me learn more about it, right? Why not? Or if somebody wanted to introduce you to somebody who, hey, so-and-so has a business in this place doing this, and they're interested in bringing their solution to Canada, and say, well, sure. So the world was a much more open world. Everybody here remembers that, right? Before COVID. Then we had what I call here the international shocks. International in a sense that they permeated everywhere. First, of course, we had COVID, the coronavirus, and COVID in Canada, actually Ontario, which is the jurisdiction where I live in Canada, was one of the jurisdictions in the world that imposed more restrictions. Anyways, without getting into the detail of that, what was good, what was bad, but the facts are, if you go back and look at the numbers, Canada is one of the places that had the fewer proportional per capita death number, and also one of the places that got more severely impacted economically, right? You can go and look at tables and find that information yourself, right? I'm just talking in general terms here. So what triggered after COVID happened? So COVID happened and everything stopped, right? Nobody's traveling anymore, nothing, people are very cautious about spending money. So there was a very large degree of economic caution that arrived after the coronavirus, after COVID, and actually have not gone away totally, right? Also, we've had in the last few years a much more fragmented geopolitics. If you look at the world, things are not as open, and like things seem to be, walls are going up everywhere, right? It's like, yeah, these guys, you know, a lot of political parties everywhere in the world wanting to be more inward looking and like, let's take care of our problems first and then we will help somebody else. So we have that fragmentation in politics happening kind of everywhere. And in Canada specifically, what happens is that we have a very internationally connected population, right? A lot of us in Canada were not born in Canada, are immigrants. Like in the Toronto area, 52% of the people were born out elsewhere. And for Canada as a whole, it's something more like 25%, right? So of course, with all these geopolitics realignments and travel restrictions and visa changes, you know, like all that impact is felt in Canada big time, right? So let's look at the reality here in 2024. And by the way, if you're like, okay, what does that all mean to me? And like, can I still navigate things now in 24? I am in Canada, but I want to do business with somebody abroad, or I'm from abroad, I want to come to Canada. All of these conditions, everything is still completely happening and completely possible, but maybe now there is a little more need to navigate with more awareness of what's happening. It's not that open ocean that was before where any movement you made was gonna work, right? So anyways, in order to help you in this narrow path possibly, good news that there is help. We are here, we have our platform, Your Business in Canada, where other foreign-born business people like you and I, we can work together to help you navigate your path to a successful business in Canada. Okay, but let's look what's the reality in 2024. We have very clearly everywhere, in Canada included, a focus on local and regional resilience. And that started with the COVID and protection equipments and then vaccines and then everything else. Like, oh, we need to have our own machines, our own hospital equipment. And then it became something about the car industry with the chip shortage. Oh, there's a shortage of chips. Now I cannot find cars, or my car doesn't have the same functionality now because the automaker removed that front camera that it used to have because now they don't have enough chips. So there has been definitely a focus on local and regional resilience because the fragility of longer supply chains have kind of being brought to front to people's attention. So there is that focus now, right? A lot of people wanting to deal with somebody who is more similar, more closer, and kind of less subject to further disruption. And also as a byproduct of all that, we notice that there's a little more reluctance for voluntary exploration. It's like, oh yeah, let's travel to see what we find in this other place that we can buy and bring to sell in Canada. Or, oh sure, let's talk to these people who are arriving here to see what they're bringing to us. The willingness is still there, but there's a little bit more reluctance, okay? There's continued openness. That's important to know. Canada, commercially speaking, of course, one of the most open countries in the world. We trade a lot with many countries. We have trade agreements across the world, and we have a large immigrant population. So of course the openness continue, but now it has some touches of caution in it that people need to be aware of, right? Canada continues to be a fantastic base for international business because of the trade agreements and the innovation. And the innovation that happens in Canada to a large degree is through immigrants that are in all Canadian universities doing their PhDs and developing knowledge here, or foreign companies that are setting up their innovation hubs in Canada because it's a place that has perhaps more open immigration policies for highly educated people, so it's easier to get to build your international team of a specific topic in Canada, right? But however, that's a very important distinction. There is definitely a need to belong, to integrate, and to contribute locally. So that may be the biggest change between 2019 and 2024. Before, it was just a given. Yeah, sure, this is going to be good because it's a great product source. We don't have it here. You know, there's good pricing, good market. Let's do it. Now people are thinking twice. People think, okay, are they willing to integrate locally here? Like, what's the contribution that's coming? It's not purely a catalog and a price list of some product or service that seems to be of a good price, and so let's buy it. People are considering now, yeah, but if I hire somebody locally, I can get this incentive program to help me pay for their salary. If I buy from these foreign companies, then I don't have the same incentives. And these guys are here, they understand. So you see, so the need to belong, integrate, and contribute locally is what has increased between these two periods, 19 and 24. Okay, here are two more videos that you can check more about these type of topics. Thank you.